Today, I'm going to show you how to build and fill a raised garden bed for free. In the past, I've built quite a few raised garden beds for pennies on the dollar using reclaimed materials. If you're willing to spend some money to build your raised garden beds, you're in luck because I'm going to share with you some important tips to get you the best value without breaking the bank. Let's go grab the wood for the garden bed. I was driving through this neighborhood the other day and I saw that someone had taken down a fence and put these boards here in the street. These boards are going to be perfect for my raised garden bed. Personally, I prefer the rustic look of aged fence boards. If you can't find any, another free option are wood pallets. They require a little extra effort to take apart, but work well. Fence boards are a really good option too because they're not usually too long. You can fit them in a truck, an SUV, sometimes even a small car if you need to. You'll notice I'm keeping the nails in the boards, and you'll see why soon. I got the fence boards loaded up, and I spotted a couple 2x4s in this alley last week that I'm gonna grab if they're still there. Alleys are just a great place to look for scrap wood and things in general, so if you live near some alleys, take advantage of them. I do. Just about any type of fence board will work for a raised garden bed. These are a couple from my collection that I've used in the past. The most common size of fence board I find is this right here. Sometimes it will be a little bit taller like that one. And this is what I found today. I find this to be the most ideal fence board, and it can be a little rare, but its width is what's really nice. I've decided to build my garden box right there next to my cactus corner. Usually I would avoid putting a garden box on cement, but I'm running out of room in my yard and this spot gets a lot of sun. This may seem strange, but I'm using this bicycle to determine the garden bed dimensions, and just my luck, this happened. No! No, it was so dumb. Using this old 10-speed will make more sense a little later on in the video. I settled on a length of 6 feet and a width of 2 feet. What's cool about these fence boards is there's not much cracking on the ends, and the cracks that are there are very thin and aren't going to affect the raised planter bed structurally. So I'm not going to cut any off because I really can't afford to and still maintain that length of the bike that I'm using. Oh, here comes my grandpa. This is his house. I'm making another raised garden bed.
Oh.
Similar to the ones that I've made before here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna make it out of stuff that I found for free.
Oh, good.
Love that guy. I have to make some cuts for the boards that are gonna go on the ends of this planter. To do that, I'm gonna start off with some fresh cuts. If you choose to buy your wood for your raised garden beds, I would recommend redwood. It holds up really well and has worked great for me in the past. I'm using a circular saw to cut these boards. It has just a general all-purpose blade on it, the cheapest one you can get. You don't need anything fancy for this project. Since I'm putting this raised garden bed on top of cement, I'm gonna make it 2 boards high to really make sure that the roots have enough room to go down and be happy. Out of these 2 boards, I need to get 4 sections of 2 feet. So I'm gonna measure out 48 inches of the best parts of these boards and then cut them into 24-inch sections. When you come into the backyard, you look this way. So just for a personal preference, I'm gonna tuck this end in and just let that end be the exposed part. Cool. Now it's time to measure how high these 2 boards are gonna be so that I can cut up one of the 2x4s I found in the alley to be my corner brace. So it's 22¼ inch, maybe a little bit more, but I'm gonna settle on 22¼ inch. I just wanna point out that when you find reclaimed materials to build projects like this raised garden bed, they're not always gonna be perfectly straight and pristine. But I think that's kind of the beauty of these projects because either way, it'll get the job done and it's gonna look pretty cool. More often than not, when I find old fence boards, they still have their screws or old nails still left in them. Since I'm building this raised garden bed for free, I'm going to use the nails that are already in the fence boards to put the bed together. Fortunately for me, they're coming out pretty easy and straight. It's time to put the raised bed together. I'm gonna do the ends first. I drilled pilot holes in the fence boards where I was going to put the nails to prevent the wood from splitting. Got my nails here. As I went, I made sure the edges were lined up and everything was as square as possible. I think this is gonna look pretty good. Since this ground isn't perfectly level, I'm going to build this on its final resting place to make it look as good as it can. Now I'm gonna start drilling some pilot holes through these long boards and start nailing it together. My camera got too hot and stopped recording while I put together the front side of the bed, but you get the picture. I want to add that if you're going to buy nails or screws, I recommend getting basic wood exterior screws. They work very well and won't cost you too much. I put a couple 2x4s here to help support the planter, so when I fill it with dirt, it doesn't expand out too far. I'm gonna put another 2x4 across it to really lock it in. Time to go get the soil. On a recent bike ride, I found a free pile of fill dirt. These piles are a pretty common find. Usually they pop up when someone is building a pool or digging out an area to pour a concrete foundation. This dirt is different from the potting soil you would find at your local home improvement store, but it works, and most importantly, it's free. All soil has dirt in it, but soil contains different additives that create optimal conditions for plants. Before filling up the raised garden bed, I put down some used plastic I scored from my uncle. Hopefully it will prevent staining the cement below, just in case I have to move this raised garden bed in the future. Now that the plastic's in, before I add the dirt, I'm going to put some logs inside that I have laying around. Some people do this and there's a rhyme and a reason to it, but for me, I don't know if I got enough dirt. And now my free pile of dirt is gone. So I figure I'll add those in there, try this technique out, and let it rip. All right. I think that's gonna be good right there. I decided to separate the hard clay chunks of dirt. In a way, it kind of felt like I was panning for gold. I put the big chunks in the bottom first so that they will break down over time. Certain vegetables can grow great in just dirt. These include peas, broccoli, lettuce, spinach, kale, carrots, and many more. If you can't find a free pile of dirt, I recommend buying potting soil. A little pro tip, you can save quite a bit of money if you buy soil in bulk instead of a bunch of individual bags of soil. Shop around, it's worth your time. Earlier in the video, I used this bicycle to help figure out the length of my raised garden bed, and that's because I'm putting it into the garden. Today is day one of another fun project where I'm growing peas up this old 10-speed. Keep a lookout for more fun videos with plants on the way. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your week.